And down here to the bottom right in the blue. Currently down a game in the series. Can he come back? He is.
LGIM MVP from Europe.
MVP from Europe, aka Jürgen. Bottom left of the map, we have his opponent taking the first game in the series. Can he make it 2-0? It is.
Axiom Alicia from America.
Is he the hero the North American scene needs?
Yeah, we have a European versus American battle right now.
Yeah.
With 2 Koreans fighting.
2 Koreans fighting. And fighting, you know, physically is not the right way. They're just, you know, metaphorically speaking.
We have very interesting lines in the middle of our screen here.
Yeah.
It's just the extra sparkle that we have in that game. Oh, they're gone. That is sad. I just got used to them.
You know, things come and go, miracles, you know.
Now it sounded like some Protoss was trying to just warp into the game, showing them how it's done. No.
Well, the overlay to the top, maybe that was what was warping in. I love our overlays we've got over here on the GSL stream. It's always really fancily made up at the top there, showing the colors, players' names.
Oh yeah, and I actually got another tweet where people were asking about what exactly the T5 and the P7 means. There was a huge thread on Reddit. People have been talking about this, but apparently like a few still don't know. And I know that a lot of your viewers that we have today might be newer to StarCraft, so to explain this to you, the T5 that we see right next to MVP, the T stands for Terran, and blue is of course his color, and we have him at the 5 o'clock starting position to the bottom right. And the same is of course then true for Alicia, the P7 Protoss in red, starting at the 7 o'clock spawning position. So that's always how you get those extra information out with the overlay. Alicia is in a 1-0 lead, which you can also see there. It's the second set of the best of 3, and we have the map being Newkirk Precinct.
Yep. I just got a tweet that Artosis bombed us. He did a group bomb us, like while we were over here on Group B. He did something behind us and we didn't even notice. Apparently that happened. I don't know what he did. We'll have to get him back for that later.
Yeah, the setup that we have here is actually quite funny. We have basically the triple caster setup, the triple GSL caster setup, with him being the tiny figure in the middle that you can see when we are on camera.
He's what people are calling solotosis. Sounds like something you have that like you need to go to the hospital right away.
Yeah, exactly. Is there like an antidote? And that's probably also what MVP is thinking here. He's caught a severe case of Alicia in game 1 and he couldn't get rid of it in time. So this is game number 2. Maybe he was cured, but he certainly has to find an answer because Alicia so far was doing a really good job. And now we have both of them heading into the expense again. MVP a little bit faster than the Protoss opponent.
I think we're going to see... Yep, there it is, the Stargate. So MVP is going for reactor into factory type expansion on the low ground, a very safe build, but if he goes for a drop, Alicia is going to be able to deal with that so easily with the Stargate. He's going to see it coming. He can, if he has one Phoenix for any reason, then he can very easily deal with that. He could also go into his beloved Void Rays and do a timing attack on this map quite easily. I think most likely we'll see an Oracle opening, but you know, anything is possible.
Usually it's Oracles that you see, and then the attempt to sneak into the mineral line of your opponent. Oracles just take down SCV so fast.
And it's a great map for it. I mean, it's one of the maps that we have that's really close by air, no matter where you spawn, since it's only a 2-player map.
Mothership Core is already moving in, and here comes Oracle number 1 being chrono boosted immediately. MVP on the way to get his own star put out, could do a lot here, and he has a Widow Mine. And with the Widow Mine, the Widow Mine and Viking combination is great against most drop plays, but a Widow Mine alone is already giving Oracle like way too much to deal with.
No, the problem is he's just not going to be at home with it, I feel, when the Oracle gets there, because he's going to try to drop. And that is going to also be spotted, so the Widow Mine spotted here right away. Alicia wants to know where it's burrowed. He's not going to be able to have that luxury, but he will find out there is one, and here comes that Oracle now. Build up some energy on its way across.
Oracle on the way, second Oracle already being built. The Marines are trying to walk across the map. Maybe could go for a bit of counter aggression here. Oracle is dodging very well so far. Widow Mine setup is going to be very important here for MVP, but they are not where they should be. It's not in the mineral line. He doesn't know what's coming. He has no idea, and here comes the Oracle.
He is trying to chase down that Mothership Core. The Mothership Core actually may fall. No, he pulls that away too. Very well done. More and more SCVs falling as we speak, though. Widow Mine's dodged, and now he knows about the drop.
The Oracle of Delphi taking down 5. Laying down the truth here. Oracles are pretty good against SCVs. 5 Harvesters killed, taking down another one. He's even not getting the 7th, but Oracle number 2 is already on the way. Keep that in mind.
Yep, those SCVs not having a Delphi shield there. Phoenix is coming out now to deflect the drops. I love this. You know, you scout the drop, and you just make Phoenixes, which are also going to be good in other situations. Like, for example, if he wants to go into Phoenix Colossi. We've seen players like Zhangbi do this a lot, and on this map specifically. And he has a second Oracle too, don't forget, just in case of the drop getting past his Phoenixes. He can use that second Oracle for detection. This is just Alicia having all the advantages in the world, and MVP is down a game here.
Yeah, for MVP everything is on the line. I mean, this is his last chance to go straight to the next round of the tournament. Oh, and he's even spotted here, and those two Phoenixes immediately going for the pursuit, trying to take it down.
He actually may get this. I think he's actually going to kill it. And if he drops, the Oracles will kill the Marines anyways.
Yeah, they're fast and the furious. Afterburners are running out here. No more Nos tanks for him, and he's taking down the Medivac. Taking down a few Marines with it, and those Oracles, they are killing the rest.
Look at the supply.
So
Alicia
well
pulling
done.
miles ahead right now.
This is atrocious for MVP at this point. 33 SCVs against 42 probes, and we have such a huge lead for the Protoss play here. Not only the 20 supply advantage that he has, but also the tech that he's putting out.
Alicia just chose a great build, you know, for so many different reasons. What's the strongest thing you're gonna have as an opening on this map? It's drop play or something by air. So he goes for a build that's good by air, then also allows him to stop his opponent's ability to use air. It's like a catch-all. It's just great.
Even more than that, MVP moving out with those Marines trying to catch the Mothership core didn't know that there was a Stargate opening, so he did not have anything back at home to really defend against the Oracle. Yes, there were a few Marines in the Widow Mine, but with the mobility of the Oracle, it was an easy feat for Alicia to just bounce between the bases and take down additional Harvesters, and that gives you the early lead that you need.
Oh, that SCV is dead.
Down in the waters. Here we go. Graviton Beam. Do you even lift, bro? Oh, yes, he does. Taking it out. And now we have double upgrades coming Alicia's way. MVP trying to get Stim and Combat Shield out there. But here comes the next.
Yep, just trying to be a little bit aggressive here. Checks with the reveal there to see if there's any Widow Mines.
Overcommitting would be a problem. That's something that he shouldn't do. He got a significant lead in the game, and it was actually kind of decent, but if he overdoes it right now and loses everything, that would definitely negate that once more. It's not like MVP is completely dead here. One bad engagement by Alicia could cost the Protoss player the game, so he has still to be very careful here. It's just a nice advantage that he got in the early game.
Yeah. That Oracle's still remaining a detector for just a little bit longer. And, as you can see, the Observer finally spotted. Oh, he has to use 2 scans. That's never what you want. 2 scans for an Observer, that hurts your economy quite substantially.
Yeah, it's... I mean, scans, all the energy that you have to drop with the CCs, that is 1 less mule that he couldn't use later, 1 scan less there can determine where exactly the army of the Protoss player is being positioned. So this is definitely going to be a big issue for him. And look how many gateways we now have coming up for Alicia. He's powering up like crazy, getting 5 out there. He has range +1/+1 coming up. And he still has that force in the air that can do damage and that can always shut down jobs. There is no hope for MVP at this point to get a Medivac into his opponent's base.
And all these gateways are not for an aggressive timing. They're just to hold MVP's aggression, because he knows that all he has to do is hold this push, and then he's going to be so far ahead. And yeah, MVP has a 3rd command center, but it's going to be a while before that gets moved over. And we have Colossi on the way. No more Phoenixes, so he's not going to be going Phoenix Colossus here.
MVP is just doing... well, he has a huge problem with Alicia. Alicia has such a stable build. MVP doing what he can. But the player here, the Protoss player, is doing such an amazing job. The stable build that we have, the right decisions for him taking the 3rd base right now, has to back off now that the Vikings are entering the stage. But he even has +2/+2 on the way, whereas MVP doesn't even have an armor yet.
Yeah. And MVP... He has to hope for an incredible miracle, pun intended, to get through this, because right now he's looking at this and you know, taking a 3rd base is not easy right now. He's going to have to go for it, and if Alicia is waiting for him there, he might have to lift it back into the main base. Upgrades behind. Not only has he not started 2/2, but he hasn't even started +1 armor. He just starts that now, so he's already 1 set of upgrades behind, and he might find himself at just 2 upgrades behind.
And we now have the transition into Storm again for Alicia. he has range for the Colossi. And with the third base, he's in a position where he can go for a second robotics and always decide what kind of tech tree he wants to go down to. Given time, he will add both. He will have Colossi and Storm, and there's the upgrade being started. MVP, of course, also with the third. But does he have what it takes to defend it? There come those Oracles once more, and he could actually just go over to the third and try to get into the mineral line.
Yeah. And here they come. Well, he's going to go to the natural instead.
He can take down all those harvesters at the gas.
Yeah. There's a turret in the middle, but, you know, nothing else. And he could even kill that reactor that's being built. Looks like that's what he's going to go for. Not targeting right now.
1, 2, 3 SCVs, just having it in hold position, doing damage. A few more units over at the third base. Zealots with a run by, forcing MVP back. Alicia just making all the right choices here.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to sacrifice the Oracles, trying to get the reveal there.
Nice.
And any SCV that goes to make a structure will, of course, be revealed to him now.
Makes the best out of the Oracles that he had. He knows that later on he won't be able to do much with them, so now he gets a reveal off here.
He also knows the armory is researching there.
What is that icon, by the way? What is
the icon that spins?
No, I mean, like, what is it supposed to be?
I don't know. It's just the icon that shows for it, I guess.
Yeah, know that, Captain Obvious.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to be.
That was like no shit Sherlock comment here. I know that, but what is that supposed to be? I mean, it's a triangle with like things sticking out at the side. So what's? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's what Oracles see. He I don't know. He knows that +1 is research at the Vikings.
Yeah, I guess. But still, I would have expected some. You know that it has actually like a meaning.
It probably does. Somebody probably out there knows. They can tweet at us at ProxWolf@Calder or let us know.
Yeah, maybe someone actually does know. Well, for now we have 3-3 started, and this just shows once more how far ahead Alicia is with the upgrades. He even sends units now over all the way across the map at the border, trying to get a good angle. And just look at this army. I mean, they are on the same supply, but this bank for Alicia, the Storms, the Colossi, we don't have Ghosts just yet. This is just an amazing game by Alicia so far, and those Zealots, they will hit MVP hard.
Yeah. Vikings here trying to do some damage to the Colossi. Does a decent job here. Where are the Storms? Force Fields go down. Decent Storms here on the Vikings.
Yeah, a little bit of defensive Storms trying to keep the Terran player at bay, but we have those Zealots now in the mineral line. They take down not only the turret, but also a few of the Harvesters.
Yeah, a little bit interesting. Goes for the turret there. Since he doesn't have those Oracles left anymore, but either way, no more detection here, no more anti-air, and he trades against the Marauders decently well.
Yeah. Warp Prism speed is being researched now. Moving in again with the Zealots. Has to be careful though. A nice volley here by the Vikings takes on one of the Colossi. The Storm at least saving the retreat.
Yeah, but MVP is trading better here than Alicia, and Alicia has to be careful. Even though he has the better upgrades, MVP's army is constantly bigger than his, and he's losing units left and right. That was a good Storm.
Another good one coming in. But yeah, we have definitely a situation now where the Protoss player has to be really careful. MVP is getting a better and better foothold in this game. He's really taking a lead against his opponent, even though he's behind in upgrades. 3-3 is soon going to be done, and Alicia has to pick his battle.
Yeah. He has to try to buy a little bit more time. More Storms going down. Excellently done. The Vikings really starting to fall here, and the Colossus transition is going to be a problem for MVP. Notice he's almost really closed that gap in supply with the Zealot run bys going in here multiple directions.
Yeah, again we have the Zealots at the natural and also at the third base. He's taking on so many Harvesters. And here we go. Here comes the battle, but the Colossus is going to fall. Doesn't even get a shot off here just yet. All those Vikings moving in. MVP with a great hold at the third base, taking the Nexus down. And the position for the Terran player is just crazy good.
Alicia just spent too many minerals on those run-bys. He doesn't have army here anymore. All of his Zealots that he sent to those harassments would have been much better spent here, of course, defending and keeping him alive. MVP is going to take this game now. There's nothing Alicia can do. He has a small bank, but it's not going to catch him this game.
Here come the Storms, and they do a lot of damage, but both of the bases are already gone. The bank is still there
Zealot
for Alicia.
Flank.
He's trying to move in with the Zealots, exactly. Can he pull it off somehow?
Not with the medevacs there. MVP escapes with so much, and he now has an economy. Alicia does not.
Exactly, yes, still 39 SCVs against 29 probes. It was just like, Alicia never really picked his battle. He always tried to retreat, and while he was retreating, he lost too many units, especially the Colossi that died. That was too much. He can't handle this.
Yeah. Probes long distance mining right now. Takes out an Archon. Very nicely done by MVP. He's going to get these sentries as well. Well, one of them.
You can never count MVP out. Betting against MVP is one of the worst things that you can ever do in your entire life, and he shows us once more why that is. MVP on the verge of winning this second game and forcing Alicia into game 3.
MVP just has a much better army, and all he has to do is wait a few more moments, go for a second wave, and kill the base again.
The upgrades for Alicia, of course, still ahead with a 3-3 here against 2-2, but his army size is just too small.
It's about
He's
half of
60
MVP.
supply behind.
Yeah.
Well, here we go, and another... I mean, what is Alicia currently hoping for? Right now, it really looks like he wants to rebuild his economy, but that is not really possible. If you are on one base, you don't have mineral patches in the base anymore, and your opponent is mining from 2 mineral lines. Hoping to come back in this after being behind 80 supply is impossible.
Well, maybe he wants to get some more Templar out with the gas he's built up, but you know, the Terran army very low on hit points here. He just has too much. They're all Marauders. They have way too much DPS.
He can tank it. The GG, inevitable. MVP takes it, brings it into game number 3. Alicia tried his best here at the end, but once that he lost those 2 bases, he just couldn't do anything.
Yep. You're definitely correct on that. And we might have a Halloween cast.
I don't think so, but it would be fun.
No, it's not that then. I'm like just as scared as the viewers are right now.
Well, it's not. Okay, here we go.
Well, now I can't see anything anymore, but...
And you guys will never know what we actually talked about.
No, nope. And you'll still know if Kyle was wearing pants or not.
Well, they could ask someone that's in the studio and send me if you want.
Yep, but they really have those people's contact info?
Probably not. Game number 3 is now coming up. We already got our invite. We have MVP and Alicia going into the last series of the best of 3. It's actually pretty cool that all our games today have been going into the 3rd map, so that is really great for the viewers out there and for us as well, enjoying Starcraft here as we are sitting and commentating those matches. MVP coming back into the series, and Alicia, he has to feel a little bit weird right now, especially after his harass in the early game was really successful for him.
Exactly. So just had some problems with his... MVP said he had some problems in that game, so we might actually have a little bit of a wait here, because he said he had some lag issues and some problems with his mouse, but he still won. It's like, what? But maybe he's just trying to like make Alicia really scared right now. I'm not sure, but it looks like someone's going to go and check and make sure he's not lagging. But the map he's chosen, Alicia, that is Akalon Waste, so 2-player map yet again. And one of those maps where anything could really happen. There's a lot of different good strategies on this map. Yeah,
something that we see occasionally, which I really like, is these Blink Stalker strategies that we have now in Heart of the Swarm with the help of the Mothership Core. You don't really need the robotics anymore if you go for this timing, because with the Mothership Core alone, you have the high ground vision and then can use the Stalkers to blink up. And Akalon is just one of those maps where this strategy is really powerful.
Yeah, it's really, really a great map for that, just simply because there's so much surface area. There's so many different blink areas, and even in the natural, if you blink in there, behind the bunkers, you can go into the mineral line and kind of zap down some of those SCVs and then get out, then go around to the other side. As long as you keep some sort of high ground vision, whether it's a Phoenix coming out of a hallucinated Phoenix coming out of a Sentry with his Mothership Core, whatever you have, even if it's a Stalker on the high ground already, if you lose your Mothership Core.
That change that you just mentioned, that did so much coming from Wings of Liberty into Heart of the Swarm, that you don't have to research the upgrade for hallucination anymore for the sentries. That helped Protoss players a lot. You can do so much these days with this. You can get the high ground vision to use your blink to jump up on top of a cliff, but of course scouting information. That's what StarCraft is about. Finding out what your opponent is up to and then reacting to it. That is the key to a pro player, to a pro gaming career. And this is what we see a lot more now Protoss players do, like all the time. Those hallucinated Phoenixes are roaming the map, finding out what's going on, trying to see if there's a hidden structure, hidden tech somewhere, and that really changed the meta game a lot, especially for Protoss versus Terran and Protoss versus Zerg.
So they're just continuing to just check. MVP disconnected from the lobby right now, so they'll be back very soon. I wanted to ask you this question earlier because we were talking about hotkeys a little bit, but then we ended up getting in the game faster than I thought. What do you have any special custom hotkeys do you use, or do you have like the stock hotkeys when you play?
I always use the normal hotkeys. I was used to that in Warcraft, and I have like really huge hands, so I never have a problem like reaching all over the keyboard. I think if for a newer player, it's a bit better to go into into grid hotkeys, because once you get used to it, it's very intuitive. But for me, it feels a little bit weird. I'm already used to the hotkeys, so I would need a lot of time to adapt. There's actually when I made that video tutorial about the hotkeys that you can use, about how you can adapt and get those infestors out a little bit faster, the infested Terrans, people linked me to something that's called like the core. It's basically people really thinking about what they can do with the hotkey setup. What is the perfect setup? Like having a double, for example, using one hotkey for two things at once in very intuitive way. So once that you learn that, it seems to be like the best way, but you actually have to put a lot of time into it.
It's like using a Dvorak keyboard. You know, it's like it's probably the best way, but nobody else uses it, so it's a little bit harder for you to adjust.
I don't know of pro gamers using it. I only glanced at it briefly and had a quick look at a few of the tutorial videos that they had, but they apparently put a lot of thought into it, and it was something that seems to that could work really, really well. I'm not quite sure if it gives you an edge that really gives you a win in a game, but if you just start using hotkeys and come into like an RTS game, then it might be something that you would want to check out.
Yeah, for me, like I only have 2 custom hotkeys that I can think of that I use when I play Protoss. It's the Immortal. Instead of going all the way to the I, which is on the right side of the keyboard, I have that set to R. Because R is an Immortal, and it just makes sense to me, so I use R for that. I also have the hotkey for Patrol, which is P, set to Q, because there's no thing that I use for Q, so I just use that instead.
I don't really think that I use Patrol all that much, but as I said, like with really big hands, you can just jump over the keyboard, and I'm used to that from Warcraft 3 already. Actually, in Warcraft, we used a lot more group hotkeys. You had a lot more than here, because you basically had, for most players, it was from 5 to 0. You had your structures, most of them, and then you had at least 4 groups, sometimes 5 for army, for your heroes, for your spellcasters, and everything. So you had to use those keys a lot more, and then you had to use the whole range of the keyboard anyways. So there was not a lot that you could customize back then. But I feel for a newer player, it makes a lot of sense to use the grid hotkeys.
Yeah, if you're starting out, you know, some of you guys might be buying the game for the first time today. You tune in the stream, you're like, well, this game looks pretty cool, I'm going to buy it. Or, you know, play with my friends on Spawn Edition or something like that, which just recently came out. You know, maybe you're thinking about which hotkeys you're going to use. I also recommend starting to use grid, because it's definitely the way that, if you start with it, it's the best way to learn, it's the most efficient, and it's the simplest way to learn, instead of having to think of why is a Marine E instead of M or something like that.
And I think it also helps when you at some point want to change your race. That helps really a lot. If you play a different race, then it's much more intuitive trying to play with grid hotkeys than if you have to learn for every single ability a new hotkey. So that definitely helps quite a lot.
Yeah, coming from Brood War, for me, it's much easier to transition to actually using the regular hotkeys that are kind of moved around with the letters instead of the grid, because some were changed, like for example, Probe is E because P is too far away, Marine is E because M is too far away. But since I played Brood War a lot, for me it was easier to transition. But if you're a newer player, didn't play RTS that much, like you know, come from a Warcraft 3 background mainly, if you didn't play, I definitely recommend Grid.
It was really funny when I was talking to right after the game was released, and I talked to players that transitioned over from Brood War compared to the Starcraft. You had a very different approach in a lot of things of how you would move your entire screen. Like the Warcraft players had, you know, when those notifications at the left side of the map were still, they were clickable, and you could not make them unclickable. There was a feature that was added later. That was something that a lot of the Brood War players apparently had problems with. And the Warcraft 3 players could not understand that at all, because we moved our screens differently. Yeah. Like, we did that completely different. Our mouse never got close enough to actually click that. So when for example, Hazorb, Socken, and I, we talked about this, and Hazorb and myself, we looked at each other and we were like, what? You click on that? I didn't even know you can click on that. When would that ever happen? And that's when we kind of find out that coming from different games, we approach the controls of the games very differently. So it's always funny if you realize something like this, that a player with a different background will approach the game just in a very, very different way and have completely different problems than you.
Yeah. So, MVP, it looks like he's going to actually change his computer. So this could actually be a little bit of time. I don't know if we're going to go into a break or anything like that. Yeah, we're actually going to have a 10-minute break.
Yeah, we have a break, and so of course we have like a 10-minute break now, but if the game starts actually sooner than that, we will jump back right away. So as soon as the game starts, you will be able to watch it here. It's the third game between MVP and Alicia. There's a deciding game in the winners match at Group B at WCS, the season finals here in Korea. See you guys in a few with a deciding game between MVP and Alicia.